Howdy, howdy, howdy. Always happy when I see my screen show up and say you're now live. Uh, get to come out and visit with y'all guys this evening. It's funny, I was trying to get everything set up. I could see the comments over the side, y'all chatting along. Before we get started, that's so cool. I love hearing that. It's our C, man, I guess. Welcome to all of y'all. Before I go any further, SKD 143. I love my wife. I was going to say especially on Valentine's Day week. No, not especially on Valentine. Every single day. But it is Valentine's Day week, so we'll talk about that. Love my wife. Love my kids. Love reality TV fans. We got a little reality TV to talk about tonight. And especially you guys that sit out here every Monday night with me, and those of you who watch it on replay as well. Thank you. I certainly appreciate it. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Now, I'll go ahead and mention while we're talking about watching replays and all of that. Those of you who are watching live, those of you who are watching on replay, please go out there if you haven't done so already. Subscribe for my YouTube channel. Man, I feel like such a YouTube kind of person when I say it. Turn on the subscription. You can turn on notifications so you see all the other things that I post out there as well. And you can even hit that little thumbs up button because I always appreciate that. So, yeah, we got that out of the way. I hope y'all are doing well. Monday 13th, because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. But today, before we get into that, what is it? National Hangover Day because of the Super Bowl. I watched it. I want to see what y'all think about it. I want to see what y'all think about some of the TV commercials. But just as importantly, today, two pretty important ones. One, in 1906, a very special, I can't remember what his name was, and it probably doesn't matter, but a very special product patented in 1906, Novocaine. Can y'all picture what going to the dentist? I hate going to the dentist, but can you picture what going to the dentist would be like without Novocaine, getting all that kind of stuff done, and just having the, I guess you wouldn't be biting on a bullet because they're working on your teeth, but you'd be gripping something pretty hard, right? Yeah, Novocaine created in 1906. Thank you. They have all the inventions, maybe not the one that changed the world, but certainly one that pretty important to have. So we had that. The other thing today, and this one a little more exciting to talk about, I guess. Today is National Cheddar Cheese Day. Man, I love me some cheese. I know the Big Brother house. It was funny in that Big Brother house. We always had cheese. We always had peanut butter. We always had jelly. So you could always at least have some sandwiches and everything else. But when I think of cheddar cheese, what I'm always going to think of, probably for my entire life, cheddar, cheese, Chuck E. Cheese is what I think of. Did y'all know? I don't know if I've ever said that on here. One of my very first job, like working for someone as opposed to doing newspaper rack kind of things like that, was working at Six Flags over Texas. But that was only during the summertime. So the rest of the year, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese's. The old pizza place. Now, I was not the one dressed up as the mouse. I actually ended up working in the game room, which is pretty cool. Walk around. If someone's machine didn't work right, I'd give them a quarter because everything was a quarter to play back then. Give them a quarter to do it again. I got to watch all these experts play the game. I got to be a pro before the days of video game. Well, we had them. It wasn't like they have now. I spent a lot of time playing those games and everything as well, and getting really good at a few of the games. Pretty good at Gallagher. Pretty good at Defender. Pretty good at Joust. Some of the good games from back then. But here's something else that I had to do working at Chuck E. Cheese, and I hated it at the time, but now I think it meant a lot for me. I was incredibly shy as a kid. I was not the talkative type. Imagine that, right? I actually think there's more people than we think that go on to Big Brother who are introverts, who are very shy, but as they try to break out of that part of them, they just kind of go into a completely different direction, which works out for Big Brother. But incredibly shy as a kid growing up. But one of the things that I had to do while working at Chuck E. Cheese is I actually had to also work as a greeter, which meant I stood at the front of the store, and whenever someone came in, I had to say, "Hi, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. How are y'all doing? Oh, it's wet out there. Oh, yeah, it looks like y'all are here for a party." Whatever. I had to talk to everyone when they came in and see what they were there for and ask questions on that. And for someone who doesn't like to talk, that was difficult. But it forced me to, I had to do it as part of the job. And so it forced me to talk to people. It forced me to get a little less shy about life. And next thing you know, some 40 something years later, here I am doing Big Brother and doing this show and everything else. So, yeah, that's funny things in life that maybe don't seem that much at the time can have some impacts on down the road. All right, just throwing stuff off the cuff as we talk about it. Before we talk about comments, let me just see who's out here real quick. I just want to say a quick howdy because I love seeing y'all's names out here and see who we got. Jake the Horror Movie Geek was the first one out here this evening. Heck, Jake, how are you doing? Keith Franken, Mark Taylor. I'm going to go through this fast. Cindy Heyer. Y'all are just having quite the conversation. Brian Hustler as well. Kiki. Ma Zangri is out here. Hey, Ma, how are you? Vicky Stone. Hi, Vicky. All right, as we go through here. Lola. Hey, Lola, how are you as well? Mark Taylor, Annie Berger, Marilyn Sutherland. All right, I think we'll probably Michelle Moore and Wyatt Garrett. I saw a little post Wyatt talked about the Super Bowl and performers. I was going to talk about the performers in the Super Bowl a little bit as well. But before I do that, let's talk about some other comments. I hope y'all are doing fantastic this Monday evening. First of all, Mark Taylor. Mark's asking a question I sure wanted to talk about this evening. March 8th is the premiere of Big Brother Canada. Are you going to cover it? Yeah, I'm so ready. For those of you who don't know, yeah, Big Brother Canada starts March 8th. I don't even know what day of the week that is. I don't really care because I'll be watching it. Absolutely, I'll be watching it. I've enjoyed the last couple of seasons of Big Brother Canada. I still feel so bad for the one season. Was it 9 or 8? I can't remember now. They got shut down early because of COVID. I've met a lot of them. What a tough thing to come into that house, think you're going to play this game, do so well, and then you get shut down because of COVID. But a lot of things happen. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that on March 8th. Am I going to cover it? We'll talk about it out here on Monday night. So yeah, we'll have the conversations here. I'm not going to cover it the way I do Big Brother here in the United States, where I do every morning. I do an overnight update and really kind of focus in on Big Brother during the summertime. Man, that's a long 3.5 months, but I love every bit of it. But no, I'm not going to do that for Big Brother Canada, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, they have curfews for Big Brother Canada. They don't stay up all night long. We don't get the live feeds at 4 o'clock in the morning. They're all up talking and everything. The producers, the filmmakers, the cameramen, all up there in Canada say, yeah, we're not putting up with that stuff. Y'all are going to bed. So I remember Jamar during that one season, they were trying to get him to go to bed. He would talk to the cameras, do everything he could to avoid going to bed. But because of that, I don't really cover it on an overnight feed standpoint the way I do Big Brother USA. The other thing is that as a guy from here in the States, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I had a hard time at the last part of last season of Big Brother. Global TV just does not want us to watch it down here. And I don't know why they don't. I'd pay, but I don't know why they don't let Paramount Plus have as part of this subscription or something, but they don't. So I had some sources, some ways I could go out there and watch the episodes, use VPN and all this kind of stuff to help me watch. And that worked fine for the first 2/3 of the season. The last part of it, I couldn't even use VPN and watch it because there was some kind of subscription I had to do with Global, and it just became a major difficulty trying to keep up with all the episodes. Killed me. I hated it, but so because of that, yes, I'll be watching. Yes, I anticipate us talking about it here, but it's not going to be a daily deal where I'll post a recap or anything else. But it'll be it's going to be fun. Big Brother Canada. I love me my Big Brother USA and the game and everything else. From a production standpoint, man, y'all guys up there up north in Canada, y'all do it right. There's the sets, the house for Big Brother Canada is always so cool. I just seems like it's bigger. There's more stuff going on and all that. Now, having been inside the Big Brother America house, it's funny. The stuff that is in front of the cameras looks pretty nice, but then behind the cameras, it's just a studio kind of thing. I mean, the linoleum on the floors is kind of thin. There's the tiles that you don't normally see on the camera. Some of them are kind of dusty and broken in some places and all that. It's funny what you see on the camera versus what you see just off camera sometimes. But yeah, they have fancy houses. I'm ready to see what the theme is for Big Brother Canada because they always do it up well. So yeah, Mark, we'll definitely be covering it in some degree. All right, Kiki's saying, Happy Valentine's Day. My daughter's last basketball game. She is a senior. Well, congratulations. It's so fun watching your kids play sports and all that. So congratulations to your daughter, and props for hoping for victory out of it. And Ma saying, did Sharon say she'll be your Valentine this year, or are you afraid to ask? Well, here's the thing, Ma. If I don't ask pretty early, someone else may ask her. Wouldn't that be a kick in the pants, right? Yeah, I hope so. As I think about it, I kind of asked her, and she kind of gave me one of those. Well, let's wait and see. Nah, I think it's funny. Valentine's Day, when you're dating and all that, it's yeah, it's a big deal, right? It's a big deal weekend or week day of the week and all that. Once you're married, we go out and do something nice. We kind of gave up. We don't do the going out and eating dinner as much as we used to because God, the crowds are so rough. There's not always as much romantic on Valentine's Day just because everything is so crowded. Because I don't particularly enjoy eating at 10:30 at night or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It seems like sometimes that's when the openings at the restaurants are. I think what we're going to do, we actually did talk about it, and we're going to go buy some fancy food at the grocery store. We're going to fix up kind of a fancy meal here, a little bit more gourmet than we normally eat. So we're going to do that here. Then we're going to go in the backyard. I've got a lot of firewood saved up, and we're going to put it in the fire pit. We're just going to sit out there and have a fire, maybe drink a little wine or something, and just enjoy each other's company and celebrate Valentine's Day right here, which sounds pretty good for me. Now, little Valentine's Day story before we talk about some other stuff. Do y'all remember when I was in the Big Brother house, for quite a while, I was wearing a little origami rose on my shirt. Every eviction episode, I would wear it. And I did it because the Valentine's Day, I think the Valentine's Day before I went into the Big Brother house, that was a gift that I'd made for Sharon. I made, I think, half a dozen origami roses out of pink construction paper. Pretty cool. I found it on YouTube how to do it and spent all afternoon putting these little flowers together. I got big hands. They weren't easy doing the origami. But I made all the flowers, made a little vase out of origami as well, gave it to Sharon just to be a little different, everything else. And so we did that. Little did I know that when I won that HOH competition on day number 30 while I was in the house, when I got my stuff, my basket, HOH basket, I had the food, I had the snacks, and all the things that you normally get. But I also had that rose, which was the biggest surprise. And as it turns out, and I didn't realize, has a little inside scoop for you guys who are listening. Before the season started, my family was contacted, probably right after I was snatched away from the house, contacted, and they said, hey, just in case Cliff was to win an HOH, do you have a couple of little personal items that you could send that we could include in the basket? And that's one of the ones, one of the things that Sharon sent that they thought was kind of cool. I can't remember what else there was. There's a baseball cap with the Texas flag on it, a domino because I play dominoes, and Sharon knew I'd like seeing a domino on. But anyway, they put that rose in my HOH basket, and of everything I got, that was my favorite thing because the food was nice and all the other things were cool. But the rose was a thing that was straight from my wife that I knew was just letting her know that she was thinking about me, that they were cheering me on. I knew it all, but to see it there was kind of cool. And so I wore that rose every live eviction episode from that point on. I was going to show it to y'all tonight, but we actually put it up and I just didn't have a chance to go grab it. But yeah, who would have thought when I was putting those little flowers together that it was going to turn into something that was on TV on CBS every night all summer long. It's cool. It's still one of my favorite things that I had while I was in that house. It absolutely meant a lot to me. All right, what else do we have on here? Cindy Hires. Next Sunday is my birthday. Happy birthday early, Cindy. I hope you have a fantastic celebration on your special day. Congratulations. What is that? That's February 20th? No, 19th, right? Do I have that right? I think so. Happy birthday to you, Cindy. So Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cindy. Happy birthday to you. Or Feliz Cumpleaños, as we say down here as well. So happy birthday. I hope you have a blast. Enjoy every bit of it. Vicky Stone saying, who was rooting for the Chiefs? I picked them because of their red uniforms. Okay, well, I guess I've heard other reasons that people pick a team one way or the other. Uniforms, team names, whatever. I think I may have mentioned last week, but if not, I was cheering for the Chiefs. Now, that is a dangerous proposition to be doing because I feel like every single person I know was cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles. At least like Nick Macarone. Oh my God, he was hardcore and he was not happy at the way the game turned out. It's not spoilers talking about the Chiefs won, right? If you don't know who won the game, you probably don't care. So yeah, Nick was not happy. Karishma, do y'all remember Karishma from Survivor season 40, 41? I think earlier than that even. It's been a few years now, but Karishma lives here in Houston. She's originally from Philadelphia. So she is cheering them on. Derek Frazier from Big Brother cheering on the Eagles. A lot of people I work with are all based over in the eastern side of the United States. So they're all cheering for the Eagles. I'm a former Dallas Cowboys fan. Cowboy fans and Eagles fans don't necessarily get along. So I just couldn't bring myself to cheer on the Eagles. And here's the other thing. The Kansas City Chiefs, before they were the Kansas City Chiefs, were actually the Dallas Texans back in, I think, like 1960. And they played in Dallas. And then it just didn't work out. Lamar Hunt took the team up to Kansas City. They became the Kansas City Chiefs instead. But they started off as the Dallas Texans. So as a result, I've always had a little soft spot in my heart for the Chiefs. And their fans are incredible. They travel so well. They're passionate and everything else. Philadelphia fans are pretty passionate about their teams as well, right? But yeah, I was cheering for the Chiefs. But it was a great game. I love the game. Normally, Super Bowl, sometimes I watch, sometimes not. Sometimes I just watch for the commercials. The game was pretty good. The commercials were pretty good as well. And the halftime performance as well. I don't know if y'all saw my little teaser for my show here and on Instagram, but I took Rihanna out and put myself in instead. And yeah, she was way up there on those platforms and doing some dancing. And her background dancers. Oh my gosh. I saw her. Tommy Bracco's already got an Instagram story. If y'all haven't seen it, go out there and look at Tommy's where he mimics the dancers exactly. Spot on. Of course, he is a dancer. Maybe that's my TikTok video. I just need to get behind the Rihanna video and do my own dancing and see how well I can mimic what happened last night. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool halftime show. And she didn't dance around as much as some folks have done in the past, which I don't know. I didn't feel like it was quite as much high energy as some of the past shows. But then we found out afterwards that she's pregnant. Man, being pregnant and up on those high platforms and all of that seemed a little scary to me, but it was pretty good. We had fun watching the Super Bowl itself. Now, before I talk about some of my favorite commercials, everyone talks about the commercials, right? I miss the Anheuser-Busch with the horse and the little dog running around. And I didn't necessarily see commercials that sometimes, some years you see commercials that just kind of bring you to tears. They're so, I don't know, just heartfelt kind of commercials and all. I didn't really see many of those last night. I saw some that were funny and we'll talk about those, but y'all tell me what commercials y'all like and we'll see how much they match up. All right. Ma saying dad once opted to go without Novocaine because he wanted to eat and drink. To this day, said it's the worst mistake he ever made. Yeah, that seems like a very brutal mistake. I'm a baby when it comes to pain. I mean, I'll bring it on. I'll do anything. I'll bungee jump. I'll do crazy challenges. I'll eat disgusting. I'll do whatever as part of a challenge. If I'm dared to do something, sometimes against better judgment, I'll do it. But when it comes to pain, no way, no how. You couldn't. I don't know if y'all have all seen it. Some of you have, some of you maybe haven't, because it's a little bit older movie. Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman. If you have a little bit of a fear of a dentist, don't watch Marathon Man because it only gets worse. I've always pictured myself as being one of these guys. The Walter Mitty. I'm the spy that's over in Russia or China doing all the devious stuff and getting all the information. But I know if I ever got captured, they'd say, Cliff, spill all the secrets. I'd say, no, I'm not telling you anything. They'd pull out a little dental drill and say, I'm telling you everything. I'm making up stuff I don't know because I'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Just keep that drill away from me. Yeah, Ma, my family's never had to worry about that. They have to worry about just the opposite. Dentist saying, "Hey, you got a little filling. We'll give you a little shot." And I said, "No, no, I don't want a little shot. Load me up with that Novocaine. I don't care if my mouth feels like it's swollen up the size of a chipmunk. I don't care if I can't eat or drink out of that mouth for the next 2 days. Load me up with that Novocaine because I don't want to be feeling anything at all." Yeah, Novocaine's my friend. Not that not like I go in on an every other week basis or something, but yeah, I don't like pain. Shoot me up. I'm always. Do you know how it's such a good thing that I'm a guy? Because do you know how horrible I would do at childbirth? There wouldn't be enough painkillers in the world. So props to my wife and all the other lovely ladies of the world who deal with all kinds of stuff. And thank you for the 21st century, 20th century technology of painkillers and everything else that we take for granted until you don't have them. All right, yeah, going off a little tangent there. All right, now Wyatt Garrett saying, "I'm going to see Clay Walker on Friday at Billy Bob's." Oh, Wyatt, I wish I was up there with you. I love me a lot of Clay Walker. I've seen him in concert several times. One of my favorite, I got a lot of Clay Walker favorites or ones I like. There's one called "Before Mama Was Mama," I think's the name of it. All about how she's, a mom and settled down and all that. But once upon a time, kids find the pictures of her at spring break and things like that. It's just a cute song. But congratulations! I didn't know he was up there. That's pretty good. I wonder if I could drive up to Billy Bob's this weekend. I don't know. If I do, Wyatt, I will certainly let you know. That'd be fun. Yeah, Clay Walker's from down here. I've probably seen him in concert half a dozen times, maybe close to that. All right. Mark saying, "Want to take Nani to all you can eat spaghetti eating contest." Yeah, let's talk about that. That was the best challenge ever. What do you think of those eating habits? All right. For those of you who don't know, the challenge, ride or dies. We're getting right to the end. I think there's probably one more episode left. There were 8 people, 4 groups of 2 competing, but we lost Olivia and Horatio last week. Olivia, I told y'all, she got hit in the bridge of the nose with a golf ball, blood everywhere. Talk about someone needing a painkiller. So we're now down to 6 people, three couples competing. And last week they had an eating challenge, or the week before, I guess, at this point. They had an eating challenge of just nasty looking curdled milk, cottage cheese mixed in with mayonnaise. I don't know what was it. It was horrible. It just turns your stomach even looking at. I can only imagine what it smelled like or tasted like. But this week they had another eating challenge, except it was not nasty food. It was just a lot of food. It was bread to start, which, yeah. Hey, I've been to Texas Roadhouse. I can put down some bread, put a little butter on it, especially. Man, I could put down some bread. But they had a big old plate of bread they had to eat. Okay, doing well so far. Then they bring out not a plate, because a plate isn't fair to describe it. They bring out a platter of spaghetti. I don't know, there are meatballs on there, but certainly spaghetti sauce, and not just a little helping like you get at Olive Garden or something. No, this was I don't know, like a 5-pound platter. It just went up. It was what's on top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. A big old mountain of spaghetti. And they had, between the two of them, they had to eat all this spaghetti. And then, just to kind of make it that much more difficult, once they finished eating the spaghetti, before they could finish, TJ, the host, brought out big old bowl filled with chocolate ice cream. They had to eat that as well. Here's the thing. It's not that the food was bad. It's just, how could your body possibly hold that much food all at once? Well, it couldn't, as we found out. The challenge loves to show a lot of people getting sick and throwing up everywhere. And there were certainly a lot of that taking place. But here's what's funny. And I think, Mark, this is what you're getting at. There were a couple of people who were, a couple of teams who were using a fork, and they're rolling up their spaghetti. You think they're at a fine dining restaurant, the way they're eating this as quickly as they can, but just using a fork to put it in. Meanwhile, we've got Nani's and Bananas uh, who are just grabbing handfuls of this spaghetti and forcing it in. They look like chipmunks as they got spaghetti everywhere trying to chew it, get it down as quick as they can. And they won as a result. They won that particular challenge. They actually came up and went much faster than everyone else. I think that's what I'd be doing as well. I feel like something like that. The quicker you can force all the food down, the less time your body's going to have to send signals back to your head saying, "Hey, wait a minute, you idiot! You've already eaten 2 pounds of spaghetti. Don't you think you ought to quit?" Of course, my body maybe say, "Hey, you can go for one more," but I think that's part of it. The other thing too, it is faster than the other way. And the third thing too is when you're doing all your spaghetti on a fork, I feel like they let very little go to waste. Whereas Bananas and Nani just forcing it in, there's noodles falling all down the front of their shirt and falling everywhere. And so I feel like maybe they ended up having to eat just a little bit less spaghetti than the others because they were so sloppy the way they were shoveling in. Yeah, that's absolutely the way I would do it as well. Now, in their case, you can only eat so much, so they force as much down as they could, throw it right back up. Can you believe that's part of a TV show? When I was a kid, they never show that stuff on TV. Nowadays, they revel in it. But yeah, they did pretty well with all of that. I've always thought if I was on the Amazing Race or the Challenge or any of those, the eating competitions would be the most fun. The nasty stuff, not so much because I hate it as much as anyone else does. Although I'm a little bit more adventurous than some people in terms of eating weird stuff. I remember in was it Azerbaijan or Kazakh? I think it was in Kazakhstan. They served a drink called da, and it was basically. I like to think that it was yogurt because then it doesn't sound as nasty, but it was fermented milk with leaves and stuff mixed in. And they brought out, Lord, you'd think you're in an ice cream parlor, brought out a big old glass of this stuff and served it to me. Well, I'm not going to disrespect people. So I'm going to drink it as much as I can out of respect. And of course, the other folks from the Western kind of folks that were there, they're all laughing. They're saying, "You're an idiot for even trying that, Cliff." So, well, no, they brought it to me. I'm going to drink it. I got about halfway through and I said, "All right, guys, I hope that's enough to show my respect for the culture." And they thought it was great that I tried it. It wasn't horrible, but it's not something I'd drink again. But having said that, eating challenges, I feel like I do pretty well. I've always loved thinking about being on the Amazing Race, and they bring out something so incredibly spicy, the most spice habanero stuff you could ever imagine. People are falling over, they're sweating, they're doing miserable, and I'd just be chowing down and asking for seconds because I love me some spicy food. So that's my little fantasy that I run through my head if I'm on a show like The Amazing Race or something. Is bring out the spicy food. I would do fantastic at it. All right. Will this be the last week, the last challenge this week? Looks like there are only two left. Who will survive, in your opinion? I think it's probably the last episode because I think they said at the end of the last episode there are only 33 hours left. That seems like a nice little number to fit into a single episode, right? And yeah, there's three groups left, but one of them, Jordan and Nisa, are quite a ways behind. So I think it's Tori and Devin, Bananas and Nani. I don't know. I guess I'm cheering for Tori and Devin because I want Devin to win. I'd like to see Devin take this thing. Nothing against Johnny Bananas, but he's won quite a few of them. So I think it's theirs to lose. I feel like they're doing a little bit better. They're communicating better. Nani and Bananas griping at each other, not talking, not working things out communication wise quite as well. So, and Tori and Devin are still in first. So yeah, I think they're the odds on favorite to win, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think it's just one more episode. We'll find out. Vicky Stone, do you still have all the stuff they sent you after your Big Brother stay? Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've given away for charity or anything like that. They auctioned off one of my BB comics for Give Kids the World, and I was fine with that. I held on to the other one though. Most of I think all the clothes and everything. Yeah, I still got it. It's sitting in a box, put away. Every once in a while, I'll pull something out. I was going to pull out of course, my BB Comics was Groundhog, and the Groundhog, and I really should have pulled that out for Groundhog Day and posted it, and I just forgot about it. You know how things go. But yeah, I've got those. I've got some of the costumes we wore. My favorite costume that I've got of all of them is my BB Comics one, which is great. The only problem with it is it's a green costume, so I can't ever wear it on here because I got a green screen behind me. Yeah, these aren't actually giant candy hearts that I'm sitting around. Although it'd be pretty good. Talk about an eating challenge. Can you imagine that? Just nothing but Valentine's Day candy. How many boxes of candy can you put down? That would be interesting. But no, I can't ever wear my BB Comics because then you just see a floating head because it's green on green screen. But yeah, I've got that one. There's the Haunting of Caitlin Herman was a veto competition we did where we had to put a puzzle of Caitlin together. Those puzzles are harder than they look when you watch it on TV. But it says, I can't remember what it says on there, Camp BB, and it's all written in scary looking lettering. It's an orange shirt. So I tend to pull that out and wear it on Halloween when the kids all come to the door, things like that. So yeah, I think I've got all of them, and certainly some of the special mementos. I've got my house key. I've got the little chip that we pulled out of the veto every time. I've got a little bottle that was from OTEV that has the Patch Perfect, which is the HOH competition I won. So yeah, I've got a lot of the little Mentos and memorabilia, and yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Every single thing I look at every once in a while when I look at that box, every single thing brings back a different memory about being on that show and different things that happened when I was in there. I've got my mug that I drank coffee from when I was doing my Cliff Notes every single morning. Man, until I got overheard. I still did for a while after that, but I've got that. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff from Big Brother. It was so cool. And I think I've told y'all before, you don't get to tell them what you want, and you don't get to take anything out on your luggage. I thought you did, and I tried to take it out, and I tried to sneak some stuff out as well. I had the recipe, the breakdown for the slop, which I thought would be really cool, and had that hidden away. Man, they found everything, they did not let me keep that, but they did eventually send some of our outfits and shoes and things like that. So that's cool. I appreciate what they did send us. All right, what do we have on here? If you're on slop, or can you have condiments and peanut butter? You can have condiments. I don't remember if you can have peanut butter or not. There was a whole list, and it was very same kind of very strange and very ambiguous what counted and didn't count. For instance, I feel like pickles were considered a condiment, so you could have those. Uh, Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. I'm pretty sure that you could have all of those. Uh, Things like cheese, I don't think you could have. Trying to drinks, I don't think milk, soft drinks, I don't think you could have. Uh, so yeah, it's basically what you would put on another food. Of course, peanut butter. I guess peanut butter maybe is considered more of a main ingredient. If they give me peanut butter, I forgot. Yeah, I'd fix little slops, throw a whole lot of peanut butter on it, turn it into a granola bar or something, right? I would have been okay with that. For those of you who may not know, during my season, we only had slop for 2 weeks. And there's all kinds of rumors and conspiracy theories about why that is. And I don't know any more than anyone else does. I was so strange when I was in that house thinking, what happened to slop? Uh, and no one would ever say, and the production wouldn't tell us or anything else, just saying, yeah, we're not doing it this week. But there were 2 weeks of slop. I was never a have not, so I never had to worry about it. I tried it just because, but I was never actually 7 days on slop because the first week we had it, I won HOH, so I wasn't eligible. The second week, it was based on the first 3 people who fell off the HOH competition, which I wasn't competing in because I was outgoing HOH. So I never even had a chance to be a have not. I never even had a chance to volunteer. But if there'd been a third week of slop, Nick and myself and Holly and Sis, there were 4 of us who hadn't been on slop yet. Everyone else had been that was still in the house. Us 4 had not. And so Nick and Holly and myself, all 3 said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll volunteer. We'll be a have not next week. Sis said, nah, I'm not doing it unless you force me to do it. You're not going to make me eat the stuff. So y'all 3 have fun. I'm not volunteering. All right. We would have made her pay. If we 3 had done it and she refused to, we would have made her pay at the end of the day. But as it turns out, it was never an issue because slop ended after that second week. Still strange. Still very weird that it went like that. I don't know if there's ever been a season where you only had 2 weeks of slop, 2 weeks of have-nots, but yeah, it is what it is. Mark saying, where's the Big Brother Canada house? Toronto? I think it's Toronto. There was a little part of me that was thinking Ottawa, but I actually do think it's Toronto, where they have the production and all of that. It's y'all up there in Canada. Tell me, isn't it that it's a little bit like here in the states where the capital is Ottawa, just like down here the capital is DC, but really in terms of biggest city, it's more LA, New York down here, and Houston. I'll throw that in there, but Toronto up there. I'm pretty sure it's Toronto where it's actually filmed. If I ever go up to Toronto, I don't know. They'd laugh if I ever tried to show up and say, "Oh, I used to be on Big Brother USA. Can I see the house?" I'd say, "Yeah, yeah, you're not. That's not getting you in." But yeah, I think it's up there. I'd love to take it. God, I would love to take a tour of the Big Brother house up there. I would love to take a tour of the Big Brother house down here or over there in Burbank for our house. It would be so cool. Here's another little inside scoop that I don't know if y'all know. After I was evicted from the house, they filmed a little section for the final that Mickey and Holly did of us asking questions like we're at camp. Hey, mom, dad, I'm at camp. Do you remember which of the house guests had a yellow dress on the memory board? Something like that. So they had to film that. They filmed that inside the Big Brother house in the diary room. But obviously, I was already evicted. And so they led me back in to do the filming, and I thought, oh great, I've been evicted, so now it doesn't matter. I can see what's behind the scenes as I walk, through the hallways and all that. Oh no 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 no! Even though I was already out of the house, I still was blindfolded and had to be escorted. Still wasn't allowed to see anything while they filmed that little segment before I was then back out of the house again. So I've never gotten the chance to see kind of behind the scenes, which would be cool to do. So maybe that's on my bucket list one of these days. Maybe if I can't get back inside the house for some future season, maybe they'll let me go back just outside the house a little bit and look around. I'd be so tempted to knock on those windows though and say, so and so knows each other, but I'd never do that. All right. Vicky Stone saying, my heart sank when you got caught during your Cliff Notes. Well, me too, Vicky. Oh, of course, I didn't know for a few days afterwards. I think, if I recall, Christy told Kimmy. Christy just could not keep her mouth closed. Christy told Kimmy. Kimmy told Nicole, and Nicole told me. I think that's the way it worked. Anyway, word got to me that you were overheard. I felt so bad. Well, one, because it was my game that was getting created, but even worse, I thought, oh my gosh, not only have I screwed up my game, but I have screwed up Nicole's game, and I've screwed up Ovi's game if he gets back into the house. At that time, we still hadn't had the battle back and all that. So I thought, oh my God, what can I do? And then try to think, what could I have possibly said? Because fortunately, it was early enough in the season. I wasn't talking about any really devious strategy or anything else. The main things I turns out that I got overheard saying was that one, I knew there was an alliance of the four couples, Christy, Tommy, Sis, Jack, Holly, Mickey, and Nick and Bella, that I knew those eight were working together. And secondly, that Nicole and Ovi and I had a little alliance, a final three called Fellowship of the Zing. And I mentioned that. It kind of worked out to my advantage in that everyone just laughed and didn't take the Fellowship of the Zing seriously at all. And the fact that was my alliance, I almost think it made them take me less serious as a threat. Now, recognizing the four couples working together, that didn't help, but they knew they were working together. There wasn't anything. It was just that I knew about it. Christy tried to spin it with Sis, saying, he mentioned you and Jack first because he said he wanted to get y'all out first, which wasn't the case. And I had to do damage control with Sis. In the end, it worked out because I don't know how much they showed this on TV, but Christy did it one day. The next day, Mickey came in and listened to me as well, or came in and intentionally overheard, listened to me talking. And fortunately, while he was listening, he heard me saying about how much I really wanted to work with him and Holly, that was the two within that group I really wanted to work with. And it made it easier going forward because since he had overheard me talking about that, I think he trusted me a little bit more than he would have otherwise. So in the end, it may have actually worked to my advantage. But having said that, I still, if there's anything I could change, that's one of the things I would change in the house. I felt so bad, not only for me, But I could just picture my family back home saying, "Oh my God, just as we expected, Cliff's big mouth got him in trouble." It's my Achilles heel. So be it. I recognize it. I own it. It is what it is. All right, Samantha Wallace. Hey, Samantha, saying, "You're right, Cliff. Big Brother Canada is filmed in Toronto." All right, I thought that was the case. Only Hallmark movies are filmed in Ottawa. Well, if that's the case, then I've seen a lot of movies that have been filmed in Ottawa because we've watched a few Hallmark movies. Isn't it funny? All the movies that are filmed up in Canada now, and all right, Hallmark movies in Ottawa, Big Brother in Toronto. I think every zombie movie that's been filmed recently is probably filmed up in Calgary. I don't. I think Angie's going to watch this later, but I've been watching The Last of Us. Oh my gosh! If you haven't watched it, I just am so. When I used to watch The Walking Dead, I just got excited about a new episode coming up. But Sunday night, I was ready for The Walking Dead. Then, as you got later into the seasons, not so much. It kind of fell off at the end. But I feel that way with The Last of Us. Episodes coming up, it's like, all right, got to get ready, got to get psyched up, pumped up, ready for The Last of Us. That's what I felt like. We've only had 5 episodes. I think 5 episodes. I'm loving that series. But yeah, I think Last of Us is filmed up in I think it's filmed up in Calgary, maybe Edmonton, but I think it's Calgary, somewhere in Alberta. So they had a lot of zombie flicks filmed over in that neck of the woods. I don't know why. I love Calgary, but maybe they think it looks like what they envision. It's a spread out city, so maybe that's part of that. I don't know. But because I love zombie movies, I've seen a lot of things filmed up there. All right. Favorite commercials. Yeah, I mentioned that, then I just forgot completely about it. Ma say the Sarah McLachlan one and the Breaking Bad popcorns. All right, yes, I actually forgot about Sarah McLachlan where she's in a tent with a wolf and then they say it's a wolf. I love Sarah McLachlan music, so as soon as I mentioned her, I didn't recognize her, but as soon as I mentioned her name, Sarah McLachlan. But then they talk about it, it's a different kind of shelter. I thought that was funny. Yeah, we've got that one. What else do we have? I was trying to think of the ones I liked. I love the Breaking Bad was one of the ones. All right, here's my top 3 I was going to mention. The Breaking Bad chips was great. Man, how much did they pay them to get them back on board to do? It's not Doritos. I can't remember what chips they are, but isn't that sad? You remember the commercial, but you don't remember the product. That's probably not what the advertisers want to hear. But yeah, the Breaking Bad. I like the Will Ferrell electric vehicle car. And once again, I don't know what the brand was, but Will Ferrell continuing to try to introduce electronic vehicles in all different movie scenes and everything else. I thought that was pretty funny. Kind of have a soft spot in my heart for Will Ferrell. He's kind of cheap humor sometimes, but he always makes me laugh. And that commercial was pretty good. I liked one. I'll just call it Binky Dad. I think that's pretty much the title. Do y'all remember that one where he and his wife, they're getting ready to do a retreat and everything, or they're on vacation. And then they realize that they left the baby's favorite binky at home, and all the news is following the guys. He's racing home, racing through all kinds of obstacles to get home, to get that binky, to get back up for vacation. It strikes a chord. For those of you who aren't parents yet, you may not realize, but I remember getting somewhere and thinking, oh my gosh, we forgot, insert favorite blanket, favorite toy, binky, something. Just some little something you think, oh man, how did we forget that? That's gonna be a little rough. So yeah, I remember similar type things. I remember going to Disney World one year, and we had I can tell you so. We had a stroller, a little Barney the dinosaur stroller, and I remember Kelly, our daughter, my oldest, little, back then, and she was so excited when she saw that stroller because she thought we'd left it behind because it didn't come onto the airplane with us. So when she saw it being loaded up, she's just all happy and yelling, "There's my stroller! There's my stroller!" Everyone loved it. They thought it was fantastic that she was so excited to see her stroller. Now, probably the story. Yeah, I just saw this. Maybe the story most like Binky Dad. Oh, this is horrible. My family, extended family, went down to Acapulco one year. A little dangerous to go there nowadays, but we had a little family reunion down in Acapulco one year. My daughter she was a year. I think we celebrated her first birthday while we were down in Acapulco. My son Daniel, Sharon was pregnant with Daniel, so he came, but he didn't really notice anything. But Kelly, 1 year old, we had a couple of different kind of condo units that we were staying in. on like the fourth and fifth floor. Well, funniest thing, the condo we're staying in, we have Kelly and everyone's going up to the other condo to do, I think, her first birthday celebration. We closed the door, did not realize that it locked behind us, and the keys were inside this condo. We could not get in. It was a weekend. Uh, I practiced a lot of Spanish at the time, talking. I think llave is a word for key. I still kind of remember that. Trying to find someone who had a key that could get us in, and couldn't find anyone that could do that. I realized that the unit we were in was one floor above the unit that we needed to get into. They both had balconies. So I did bring up the idea about getting rope and coming from the fifth floor onto the fourth floor balcony, which Sharon quickly shut down and said, yeah, you're not falling 4 stories while you're here in Acapulco. So that was quickly rejected. So eventually, it was kind of an old style unit. It had a window up above the main door for ventilation and everything else. And my brother Robert and I realized that this thing was unlocked. So we were able to open up that little window above the door, but it would only open about this much. You couldn't squeeze through. I wanted to tie a rope around Kelly's legs and drop her down and let her grab the key. No, that was not an option either. But I didn't really consider that. But it could have worked. I know it could have. But now we couldn't squeeze in there, but we did figure out eventually that my brother and I working together could get the key because it was on a table right next to the front door. So we crafted up, took 4 or 5 coat hangers, created this long piece of metal with a hook on the end. One of us is like a fishing pole trying to hold this thing up through that window and then drop it down just right. We'd try to do it, wouldn't quite work. We'd pull it back out. We'd bend the coat hanger a little bit differently, but we couldn't see what we were doing. So while one of us is doing that, the other one is holding a mirror up through this window so he can watch and see what's going on and say a little to the left, little to the right. It took us about an hour, but we grabbed the keys with this coat hanger. We were able to pull it up through the window and get the door open and save the day because unfortunately, Kelly's diapers and formula and everything that we needed was inside that room. And so time was limited before it became an issue. But yeah, we solved it. If there was ever a tryout video for Survivor or The Amazing Race or those kind of shows, someone should have been filming my brother and I doing that because the way we work together, they would have put us on the show immediately. I'm still incredibly proud that we're able to get through that window. So yeah, all of that story comes back from watching a little 30-second clip on Binky Dad from the commercials. There you go. But yeah, needless to say, I like that commercial. There's a lot of others I liked as well, but yeah, definitely the Breaking Bad chips, and then a couple others as well. I hadn't thought about that story in a long time. That was Robert and I. I miss Robert. But yeah, we solved it. We figured it out, and it did not involve rappelling out the 5th floor balcony window, which I really would have done. We would have had a lot of ropes. I would have had backup after backup and all that, but they just wouldn't let me do it. How cool would that have been, though, right? All right, Ma saying you should have your kids back on the show. I need to do that. They're so busy. My son just over the weekend celebrated his 1st year wedding anniversary. My daughter's celebrating her wedding anniversary here in the next couple of weeks. So they're busy with life and all that. Yeah, but I do need to get them on board. That'd be fun. I'm gonna start looking at getting some guests on here and there, and I don't know, just tell some stories, answer some questions that they're willing to say that maybe I'm not. Y'all know me. There's very few stories that I'm not willing to tell y'all, except for the college stories, which too much like Animal House. I don't want to get anyone corrupted by telling some of those stories because there's some doozies in there. But yeah, I'll talk to Kelly and Daniel. That'd be fun to get them back on. Of course, they don't want to do it because they know they're gonna have to sit here and listen to these same stories that I tell over and over again. That y'all don't know how appreciative they are to have me coming out here on Monday nights telling this stuff, so they don't have to listen to it the rest of the weekend. So, all right, let's see what else do we have. God, 7:54. It goes so fast out here, guys. All right, let's see what else do we have on here. All right, let's see what we've got. I mentioned Big Brother March 8th. Here's another. Well, let me say this because I neglected a little bit. Not only Big Brother March 8th, casting is opened up for Big Brother USA. So for those of y'all who are here in the States that want to try out and are over the age of 21, you have to be 21. But if you fit those two, you can't be. I don't know. Based on past experience, they maybe would accept some people uh, with incredibly serial killer tendencies. No, they aren't gonna do it. You got to be. There's some requirements, but if you've not ever tried out, you ought to do it. You could have zero desire to go on Big Brother ever. You could have zero thinking that you would ever make it on. It doesn't matter. Fill out do a little video, try it anyway. What's it going to take? 5 minutes of your time? Hey, film something, send it in. The worst that's going to happen is you'll never hear back from Big Brother. The best that's going to happen is they may contact you, and then you can decide whether you would actually do it or not. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But it's still pretty cool getting contact. But that is going on now. I know I said last week or the week before, anyone who wants to send me a video and I'll watch it, I'll give you some comments. I actually got a couple of people who sent me comments. I was traveling last week. I was over in Virginia, business stuff. So I was gone last week. So as a result, kind of got a workload going on. But so I haven't watched the videos yet. But for those who've already sent me some, I'm gonna watch them. I'll give you comments. I'll let you know what strikes me, what my first impression is, and all that. Anyone else who wants to try out, hey, send me a video. I'll watch it, and I'll let you know. But yeah, so we do have that going on. I did have the opportunity because I was traveling, because I spent a lot of time on airplanes and in airports doing this travel. I was able to binge watch a few shows. I finished up The Circle season 5 with Shuby on it. I don't want to give spoilers away because there may be some people who haven't watched that, and you tend to binge it and everything else. But I enjoyed it. I thought it's pretty cool. It's been a few seasons since I'd watched The Circle, so I enjoyed watching it. Here's my little bit of a gripe against The Circle as opposed to Big Brother. I hadn't realized until I watched it and was reminded of the fact that the people who vote for the winner of The Circle are the other people who are still in the running. I think it was 5 people this time who ranked everyone else, and whoever had the highest rankings won The Circle. Which, if I'm one of those 5, I'm ranking whoever I think is the best player who has the best chance of winning. I'm ranking them at the very bottom, I think, in order to help my chances of actually winning. So I'm going to rank the person I think that has the least chance of winning number 1 and work my way down from there. If I had a say in it. And so as a result, it's not like Big Brother where the people voting for the winner have already been evicted. To some degree, we don't have any skin in the game, so to speak. Your standing isn't affected by who ends up winning at that point in time. So I think you can be a little more impartial, a little less biased, doing it the way Big Brother does. Whereas if you're still in the running for the top prize, I don't know that the person who did the best job is necessarily going to win because of that. Now, maybe I'm just the cynic because I don't have any problem with who won this season. And so I think there are people who vote for who they think's the best, even if it hurts their chances. So maybe I'm just more devious than they are because I'm not sure that's the way I would vote. But that would be my biggest gripe against The Circle is the way you determine the winner at the very end. The other thing watching The Circle, I don't think I could go. I sure would have a hard time being a catfish in there and playing a 20-something sorority girl or something. They would find me out so quick. I don't know how I would do on a show like The Circle where you can't use your facial expressions and your inflection of your voice and all that to convey messages. It's all so dry going through the computer and all that. Not that I wouldn't try it if they want to call me, but a show like The Traders or something, I think I'd do a little better on it. It's a tough game to play. The Circle is difficult trying to figure stuff out and survive when it's all done through The Circle social media or whatever. But I enjoyed the season. It was fun. It was fun seeing Shuby again. That dog, I saw him at Hearts of Reality, talked to him for quite a while. He never told me a word that he was going back in for season. I'm sure he was locked in all kinds of things that he's not allowed to disclose it. He still could have whispered it to me, but nah, he didn't say a word. But I love hanging out with Shuby. All right, 8 o'clock. Wow, guys, I think we'll shut down. Jess MUA says, "Hey Cliff, howdy right back to you. I didn't want to leave you out at the very end. Thank you for coming on board. I appreciate it, Jess. Thank you so much. All right, wow, 8 o'clock. So we'll call it good. I hope y'all have a fantastic Valentine's Day together. Now, not everyone's got a spouse or a partner or whatever right now. Valentine's Day isn't just that kind of romantic. Make sure your mom and dad, your kids, your best friends, there's all kinds of people that you can give Valentine's for. It's about bonds and everything. So wish happy Valentine's Day to all the people that are special to you, and enjoy that special day tomorrow. Be out by the fire and eat a little food. So I'll certainly enjoy it as well. The last night of the challenge is Wednesday, I think. So we'll talk about that as well. Go out and subscribe to my channel. And if you do and turn on notifications, then it means that when I drop the recap of the final episode of the challenge, you'll get notification. You'll know I'm out here talking about it. So guys, y'all have a fantastic one. I'll finish it off as I always do. SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all. Love getting to spend a Monday evening with y'all out here as well. Episode 115. 115 hours worth of stuff out here that we've talked about. And I feel like I'm still going strong. And it's because of y'all out here throwing out questions and everything else. Be kind of boring if it's just me talking, right? Without a little input from y'all. So thank you. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for all the questions. I just love talking to y'all. Guys, y'all have a great one. I will see y'all next week. Until then, I'll say it again. SKD143. Cheers, my friends. Bye. Hit the right buttons. Cheers, guys. Y'all have a fantastic